We've all had moments that break us down, searching for light when the world spins round. But in those cracks, the purpose is born, a new way to live when the old is torn. It's more than a story, it's the rise from the fall, a place where your purpose starts to call. With Dr. Stephenson, wisdom takes flight, turning your pain into hope, into light. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. From heartbreak to strength, the lessons unfold. It's about how we rise, not the stories we've told. Guests with their journeys, sharing their light. In every collision, there's power in sight. It's more than a talk, it's the wisdom we gain through every struggle, through every pain. With conversations that open the door to purpose, to power, to so much more. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. So come as you are, with your scars and fears. This is the place where the truth appears. Turn your trials into stepping stones. Find the strength to claim your throne. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. A collision with purpose, your journey starts here. In every conversation, we'll wipe away fear. Find your purpose, let your life ignite. With Dr. Stephenson, you'll find your light.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to A Collision with Purpose movement. You're watching life-changing conversations to inspire actions. Here we challenge you. We challenge you to reflect deeply and take bold steps towards transformation. I am your host, Dr. Laxley Stephenson. In each episode, we uncover the powerful life-defining moments that have shaped the lives of our guests. Ordinary people they are, who have turned adversity into triumph. But this isn't just about their stories. It's about you, our audience. It's about your actions to ignite your purpose and create meaningful change in your life. Today, I am joined by a remarkable guest. Together, we will uncut the noise, tap into your potential, and inspire action. The time for change is now, so let us get started. My guest today is Dr. Renae Rogers, a devoted wife, mother of 6, and the founder of Resources by Renae, a venture inspired by her passion for uplifting others. Renae is originally from New York. She moved to Florida in 2002 to be closer to her family. I'm not going to say much more about Renae because I want Renae to tell you about herself. So let's bring her on.
Hello.
Renae, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank God. Thank the Lord. I'm good.
You have such a long, lengthy bio. I was running out of breath on that bio. You got so much going on.
You got to take a breath in between. Yes, thank the
Yeah.
Lord.
What got you so busy? Why are you so busy doing so many wonderful things?
I'll tell you, it's by the grace of God for one, but most importantly, you do what you can when you can. You know, they'll, never know when you won't be able to do it anymore. So you got to do all
Yeah.
that you can.
You do it while you can, as much
Hmm.
of it as possible. So, Renae, take me back to your early life. What was it like growing up, and where did you grow up?
Wow, my early life was in Poughkeepsie, New York, and it was, to me, I look back at my childhood and I loved it. And I'm just so blessed that I had such an amazing family. I was supported, and cared for, loved by so much of my family. I just have such fond memories of my growing up. So Poughkeepsie, New York is where I was born and raised.
It all started in Poughkeepsie, New York. And where is Poughkeepsie, New York? For those, it's one of those places that not too many people probably know about Poughkeepsie. Where is Poughkeepsie, New York?
It's upstate New York. It's probably about 100 miles from New York City. So we weren't too far from the city. So, we wanted to go to New York for whatever reason, shop, go to great restaurants. We just either drove up there or took the Metro North. So it wasn't too far from New York, the city part.
Not too far from New York. Let's welcome Dr. Joan Fax-Dorando. She's watching. Elizabeth Kisiangani is watching from Kenya. Just want to welcome them to the show. And anyone out there who's watching, we welcome you. Thanks for joining us on life-changing conversation to inspire action. And my guest today is Dr. Renae Rogers. And the whole intent here is to inspire action. So Renae, let's begin the process of inspiring action. During your up, when you came up and you through New York, what was one of the most transformative lessons you learned in your personal journey from New York to Florida and through the different stages of your career?
So that's a great question because everyone goes through transition. Whether you're moving from one state to the next, whether it's a life transition, sometimes it's hard to understand why things are happening the way they are. But most importantly, you got to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, as people say. But one of the profound things was that it was change. You know, we're made to grow, we're made to change. It's inevitable. And you have to, constantly take it one day at a time. And but coming from New York to Florida, it was a big culture difference. I was blessed to have my mom and my grandmother there, and I came down with my auntie, and it was just, we were able to, and that's when the bond happens too with your family, when you move with, or your transition with family. And so it was a lot of change. You had to embrace it. You had to welcome it. Again, culture difference when it comes to the environment, income, everything like that. So it was different. The climate was amazing. That's probably what made me continue loving being in Florida, because the climate is just such a big difference. Also, did miss my fall. I have to admit, the September, October, November months in upstate New York was just, it's just so beautiful. So I had to get used to, wearing flip flops in Christmas time. So that was big. It really was a big, shock to me, because I was so used to being cold and the snow and stuff at Christmas. But you just have to embrace it. It's what you make out of what you make out of it. Bottom line, you can sit there and be miserable, or you can say, "Hey, I'm going to make the best out. I'm going to bloom where I'm planted."
That's so important. I did a piece called "Grow Where You're Planted." How important is that? A lot of times, often we make excuses.
Hmm.
Oh, this is my situation. I was born into this situation, therefore I'm stuck. What a mistake. What a mistake. So talk to me about that. Why is it so important that no matter where you are, you still have a responsibility to continue to grow, to flourish, to thrive? Talk to me about that.
Well, believe it or not, there's many times in my life that this has happened. Even through my marriage, I had to move from a different county to another county, and so that was transition again. but I could sit there and I had a choice. Bottom line is you have a choice. You can sit there and be, complain, or you can sit there and say, okay, God, what do you have for me right here? So our purpose will always remain the same, but our assignments are going to change. So whether I'm in the one county or another state or whatever it may be, I had to make that choice that I was going to continue to walk in my purpose and allow God to direct me. So it's basically a choice. Again, life and death is in the power of the tongue, and you have to constantly, build yourself up and embrace your surroundings and look for the good. Don't look for the bad. Look for the good in things. So,
Time and time again, this is what I have learned, what I've discovered. I've moved to different places. I've lived in different jurisdictions, different localities. And each time I go to these places, I discover that it's not where I'm coming from. It's me.
mm-hmm.
It's me. I'm the one that within me had enough. At least that's what I'm telling myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
not working where I am, but it's me. I stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I just want to get that out there. If you're watching, wherever you are, wherever you're planted, you can make it happen, and it's all in you. And a lot of it, quite often, it's in the mind. It's
It
in the
is.
mind. Because the opportunities are everywhere, but we stop looking, we stop searching, and we make excuses that I need to relocate.
Right.
Yeah. So we got to be mindful of that. We got to be mindful of that. You know, Dr. Rogers, you have experienced multiple roles, right? You're a nurse, you're an educator, you're an entrepreneur, you're a mother. How do you stay grounded and motivated in all these different things? How do you deal with being overwhelmed?
That's a very good question.
Mhm.
I'm to be very honest with you. It's the meditation. It's the time that you spend with you and God. And when you do that, I can't even explain that. You find the time to do it all, and you're not even tired, because one, you're doing it because you love to do it. When you love to do something, that fuels you. Your passion's always going to fuel you. So when I sit there and I make sure that I take my time, I take time out in the morning to spend that time getting into the word, praying, listening, because that's big. What God has to say to you. And then, I ask him, for help and grace and mercy to go through the day. So, because listen, as soon as you walk through that door, it's coming at you. Schedules are going to change. People are going to call, and it's going to switch your whole day up. It may even switch your mood up because of news that you hear, but it's, that you stand on that firm foundation and you keep going forward. But it's time management. It's something I had to learn. Seriously had to learn. I had to listen to my body when I'm not, when I'm overwhelmed. I know that I start to get headaches or I'll tense up. So I have to say, okay, you know what? It's time just to chill for a little bit. I just shut it all down. I just really shut it all down and said, and I may have to say no to some things, and no is not a bad word. I have to say, listen, not this week. I'm taking off this Friday. I'm doing this because I listen to my body when I get overwhelmed. And I'll tell you, I had to learn that, because one time I was so stressed out, I broke out in hives, and I thought I ate something. I thought, what's going on? And when I went to the doctors, like, this is definitely a reaction from being overly worked or overwhelmed and stressed out. And ever since that, I said, you know what? Your body always talks to you. Your body is always talking to you. So I see it every day working in the nursing field, or, you hear about people getting sick. It's usually because they're not listening to their body, and they're not knowing when to, like, slow it down. So I just know when to sit back, and everybody knows I love my Lucy and my Nick at Night, and I just know when to shut it down. And I'm watching TV today. I'm just not letting anything bother me.
How do you shut down being a mother? You're a mother of six. How do you shut that down?
That is hard. That's hard. I had to literally do one of these. Like, listen, my grandmother says, you don't listen, you're going to feel eventually. So I tell them, all our kids were planted with the word of God in them. They are at that choice, that point in their life. They have their own choices to make. and we can only do so much. But yeah, everybody has their own thing. If that makes sense, we already know this kid is doing this and this kid's doing that, and we just, when they come with us with stuff, we're just ready to welcome them with open arms if they want the help. If they're just, we just have to. Parenting is an ongoing thing, ongoing. But
Mm.
I'll tell you, I was a single parent for a long time, and it can be, it can be stressful, it can be overwhelming, but I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't last forever. It doesn't last forever. So, but you just have to embrace them with love, and just, we have a life to live too. Parenting is, yeah, we parent, but we now get to live our life. So
That's an interesting thought, right? Because quite often we get so caught up in this parenting thing, which is a big deal, right? And we're
it
supposed to. But
is,
then so many of us stop living.
yeah.
Our only commitment is the parenting piece. So
Hmm.
that's a solid point you make. But how do you detach yourself or disconnect from the parenting? Even when you're out there doing whatever you're doing, you say, okay, it's my time. You're still thinking about these kids. You can't get away from that.
I don't think, well, as a parent, you'll ever be able to really do that. I don't think you can. They're part of you, and again, what you placed in them, and I pray over them every single day. And there are times that I get an unction that I need to pray for one kid. Something will remind me, or something triggers, and that's definitely the Holy Spirit. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop and pray for them. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna just stop and pray. So you never really disconnect from them, um, and you know them so well. You know them more than they know themselves. So you'll know when something's going on. You'll know something is I haven't heard from this one in a while. Something's not right, or but you never really disconnect from your kids.
Mhm.
You do have, you let go a little bit. You're not holding on to them, but again, they have the life that they have to live. They have to experience life for themselves too. That but we have peace. John and I have peace of what we instilled into them. So again, we know that they're not really ours anyway. They belong to the Lord. So we just continually be there with open arms and said, okay, if you need us, we're right here.
Mhm.
So
If you need us, we're right here. Let me wish you a happy birthday, by the way. I should have done
yay. And,
happy birthday.
and how long is my birthday?
You generally celebrate for at least a month.
1 month.
You don't have a birthday, you have a birth
I
month.
have I
Each
have a
day
birthday
is as
month.
important as the other. So happy birth month, and you're going to go into November, October into November. So you have the benefit of experiencing two birth months, right?
Oh yeah, of course. You have one life to live. You have
Uh,
one life to live.
one life to live. And what you're going to do?
You're gonna live it.
Amen. You're gonna live it until you can't live it anymore, right? And that's
Exactly.
the message we want to send out there. If you're watching, drop something in the comments about how important it is to live that one life that you have to live. And Renae, I hope you're sharing this conversation on your platform,
Yeah,
your
I'm
Facebook.
on Facebook. I should be on my Facebook page.
Awesome. Just go ahead and share it because you want to share it. If that's the only thing you share tonight, you're telling your friends that they have one life to live and go ahead and live it to the max. Go out and do as many good things as you can, as much of it as you can, as long as you can do it. And this brings me to Resources by Renae. Talk to us about what is Resources by Renae. What's going on over there?
Well, I have to go back to one moment about the birthday month. And people, sometimes like, okay, she's super extra with this birthday. And it's not, if you know me, I'm not celebrating by myself. I'm not. I'm bringing family, I'm bringing friends. I'm taking the time, people I haven't reached out to in a while. I was like, hey, it's birthday month. Let's go out to lunch. Because I believe in connection, and that's what's leading me into Resources by Renae, is because I believe in connecting people. We are not meant to do life alone. So Resources by Renae was literally inspired from my grandmother, who was an amazing resource to so many. I mean, this lady could do everything. We were watching videos of flashbacks this past weekend for my birthday. She made my dresses for prom. She made my dresses for any special occasion because I was, yes, the first grandchild, and I was a little bit extra there. So I couldn't have anybody have the same outfit. So I was like, Grandma, let's make a dress. And she would sew. She crocheted my kids and all our kids christening outfits. She made wedding cakes. She cooked for people. She boarded college students. She was such an amazing resource. If you needed something, you could go to my grandmother. She'd be there to help you birth a baby. She'd have, I just, seriously, she really was amazing. And I just sit there and I think, I just want to be a resource like she was. And it wasn't even monetary what she did. You know what I mean? Like, she was just there for people. And that life, I just watched that as my childhood. You talk about my childhood. I watched that through my whole entire childhood, her be there for so many people. And I just want to be that person. If I could be a little bit of what she did, I mean, I'll be good. So Resources by Renae is just that. It's about connecting, it's about inspiring, it's about uplifting, empowering young adults, particularly after high school, and helping their parents to help them make sure that they are on the right path. And again, it's connecting people. I don't have all the answers, but I can connect you with someone that may, or know someone that knows that person. I know someone that knows someone that knows someone. Hey, it's a big, enormous village. And that's what Resources by Renae does.
And that's, for clarity and to be transparent, that lady you talk about is actually my mother.
Yes. Yes.
So
That
just
is-
just wanted to put that out there. So
So
Renae,
we each got a little bit of her in us.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now you talk. What is a vision? What's the vision? Just share your vision.
Wow.
What is a
So
vision?
the vision is really to inspire and to be that helping hand for people to transition into their next level of greatness. It's there to share resources, to help them with life, period. Um, I believe that we've gone through different things in our life because we are to help others get through different things in their lives. So I was able to learn a lot of things, whether it is being a single parent, being a divorcee, second time marriage, whatever it is. I mean, my husband and I are so well versed in so many different aspects that we've come across that we just want to be able to sow into others. So our vision, going back to the vision, is really being that place of unity, that we can come together and help each other, be a village. It's like back in the day, I would say back to the basics. When you didn't have something, you could just go to the neighbor and be like, hey, can I get us some sugar? You got any oil? You got any? It's like coming together. No one is better than the other. We're helping each other to do this thing called life. And that's what my vision is. It's just coming together as a village and helping each other. You got a kid that's struggling. Well, they may not listen to you, but maybe they'll listen to me. Maybe I have something that will spark something inside of them. And that's basically what it is, because I know I needed that for my kids growing up. They've grown up as young men. I needed that. I'm not a man. So I needed to rely on another man to say, hey, let me help you through this teenage years when the hormones are going every which way and all this stuff. You need that. So we're not meant to do life alone. We need each other.
Absolutely. When you talk about the vision, I want you to be a little bit more practical in real time. How do
Okay.
you say someone is out there, young, you're dealing with a student just graduated from high school, next step? How do you help this young person who's struggling to make some and can't make any decisions, who don't have the parental support, and they need to get to the next place in their life? How do you support that person? At Renae, but resource.
So yesterday I had an actual career expo that I attended. And these kids, the first thing, I congratulate them. They're a senior. They made it to this point, and they're excited, but you also see a little bit of fear inside of them. And I said, "So tell me, what's next?" And they're like, "I really don't know." And I'm just like, "It's okay not to know." Okay. So, but you do realize that there's help to get you to that next level. So, what I'll do is, with their permission, get their email address. And if they're underage, obviously, I have to get the parents involved. And we'll talk about. I'm here for a resource to help them get to the next level, whether it's employment, they want to just go out into the workforce. There's great employers out there that you can make a great living with without having to go to traditional school, technical school, or anything like that. Whether they want to do traditional college, technical college, we can help you with the enrollment. So, and then there's enlisting, if you want to do any of the military branches. So we pretty much, and sometimes it's not, they're just still not there. They're just like their mental capacity is just not grasping it all. So I actually have been teaming up. You talk about a vision. I've been teaming up with a really good friend of mine. Her name is Jessica. She's a mental coach. She does a lot of behavior. Sometimes we have to deal with that first because they're just not encouraged or inspired enough, or they haven't been. No one spoke life into them, so they're insecure. They don't believe that they can do it. So we call it wraparound coaching. So we're trying to help the individual and help the family all together. So going back to your original question, we'll just get that information and start there. We may do a virtual call, maybe FaceTime, Zoom, whatever it may be, and see if we are a good fit. Not everybody's a good fit. And then we'll see what they would like to get out of us helping them. What is it their ultimate goal is? And then we'll just take it step by step. We'll let them know that we definitely can help you in this way, connecting you to the right people. It may be me directly, it may not be me directly. But we'll just make sure that we get them to their ultimate goal.
How receptive are these students and the parents?
So the parents definitely 100%. And I hear it from a lot of parents. Oh, they don't want to listen to me. They don't think they need the help. And I said, yep, they're not. I was a teacher, high school teacher for almost 12 years. And I understand because it's all fun and games until they walk across that stage and the door closes and they're looking back and was like, okay, now what? And then that's when it starts to really hit them. And that's where that's why, Resources by Renae was really developed to help them after high school. I saw that with my first two clients, Isaiah and Caleb. They
Yeah.
just really was just like,
Talking about your sons.
these are my sons. And they were just, I'm like, what next? Well, everybody talks about college. Well, one of my sons, he's not that college bound type kid. At least he wasn't then. And then the other one I knew, he'd probably go into healthcare somehow. But again, some of these kids don't really have any type of, so the parents are just like, I need help. Now the kids, yeah, they're just like, I'm good. Again, until they graduate. And then that's when we're just like, okay, we're ready to help you. But they have to be ready. I tell the parents all the time, are they willing to sit down and talk with us? Or is it something that you want for them? And that's a major difference. That's because they won't receive it if they're not ready.
Because quite often it's the parents.
It's the parents that want, yeah.
Yeah, the parents. So what's your reach? Are you primarily operating in a certain parts of Florida, or are you nationwide being in the US, or do you have any global reach?
I don't have any global reach just yet. Nationwide, it's funny you said that because I do a Proverbs challenge every beginning of the year. This will be our second year doing it. So we're getting ready to do a Proverbs challenge. And that's basically learning a chapter of Proverbs for every day of the month in January. And someone mentioned to me, a very good friend said, there's a friend of mine that was asking about the Proverbs challenge for this year because she's in Connecticut. And I said, Connecticut? And it just didn't even hit me because I live in Central Florida. And I'm just thinking it's just going to hit my friends on social media. But this was being shared in people in different states. And I was like, wow, it just, I don't know why my mindset wasn't wrapped around that, but there's people in New York and Connecticut and who else, whoever knows where. But I give God the glory for that because I just didn't think about that. So yeah, I guess it's going through the U.S. and like you said, I know with your connections, you got global network. So when the Proverbs Challenge comes out, we hope to be able to bless people in other countries. And it's going to be, this Proverbs Challenge is going to be amazing. I'm already planning it. We're actually going to start recording next month. So.
Okay. Let's take a quick break. We're going to take an on-screen break. And when we come back, I'm going to play a video and we're going to talk about trusting the process and how important that is. So I'm going to play a video. We'll watch it together. And anyone out there watching our program will watch it with us as well. So let's play this video.
Okay.
Greetings, friends of the Ecologian with Purpose movement. Welcome once again to Daily Insights Unveiled, where we continue our exploration of purpose growth and the journey we're each on. I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson, and today I want to talk to you about something that we all need to embrace: process. In a world that often glorifies quick results, it is easy to forget that true lasting change takes time. We all have goals, dreams, and desires that burn brightly in our hearts. But how often do we become impatient when things don't happen immediately? How often do we question our path when the journey seems long or when progress feels slow? I want to remind you today that greatness is rarely built overnight. Whether you're growing in your faith, building a career, or cultivating relationships, the process is where the real transformation occurs. It is in the waiting, in the working, in the daily commitment that you're shaped into the person you're meant to become. So instead of focusing solely on the outcome, I challenge you to embrace the journey. What lessons are waiting for you in the here and now? What strength is being developed in you through patience, perseverance, and persistence? Every challenge you face, every setback you encounter is preparing you for the victory ahead. Now ask yourself, how can I honor the process today? Maybe it is by showing yourself grace when things don't go as planned. Maybe it is by celebrating the small wins instead of waiting for the big breakthrough. Or just perhaps it is simply about trusting that the seeds you're planting now will bear fruit in due time. I want you to know that it is okay to feel uncertain sometimes. It is okay to wonder when you will see the fruits of your labor. But know this, every moment you stay committed to the process, you are one step closer to the fulfillment of your purpose. Trust that the journey is just as important as the destination. Each step, no matter how small, is a part of your growth. Remember, you're not walking this path alone. We're all in this together. And we're all in the process of becoming who we're meant to be. Be patient with yourself, with the process, and with the unfolding of your purpose. Today, I invite you to embrace the journey, trust the timing, and keep moving forward. For in the process, you are becoming the masterpiece you were created to be. Until next time on Daily Insights, stay strong, stay faithful, keep going, and blessings always. Right, welcome back. Welcome back. You're watching Life-Changing Conversation to Inspire Action with Dr. Renae Rogers. Welcome back, Doc.
Hello there.
How important is the process?
It is so important. It's so important. And we may not see the importance during the process, you know. And as you were playing the video, I was doing some reflection, and just one thing I used to tell my kids: you're not going to stop in the middle of something. And when they were playing sports, they did not want to finish out the season, or they don't want to play anymore. I said, that's all great, but you're not finishing in the middle of a season. You
Mm.
had to complete it. And because there's so much we're learning every day, whatever process you're going through, whether it's easy, hard, whatever, there is a learning aspect to that. And I sat there, and during my birthday party, they asked what my first job, my first real job, was working at Caldors. I don't know if anybody remembers Caldors, but I remember, going to Caldor one day, and they wanted me to do something that I did not want to do. And I took actually, you were there. You were actually at the house. And I was like, I don't want to do it. And he says, well, you have a choice. And even that that was a learning opportunity right there. So, whether it's a volunteer job, whether it's working for an income, whether it's changing careers, whether it's going to school, there's always a lesson learned in everything that we do. Everything we do. And it's part of that's what's going to build you. That's what's going to create your character. That's going to and that process is going to take you down this journey. And it's you got to like take it one day at a time and learn from it. Everything you do. And it's very important to create who you are, bring out the greatness that you have inside of you, find out what your strengths are, your weaknesses are, find out what you do like and you don't like. It really defines who you are, or I should say, builds your character, and know what is it who you are and what you're made of.
Mm. Who you are and what you're made of. Let's talk a little bit about mentorship, leadership, and faith. Right? You touched on it a little bit earlier about mental health piece, that you're partnering with someone, and with the rise of mental health and all the challenges, among young adults. How is your organization, Resources by Renae? How do you integrate mental well-being into this whole process?
hmm and that I know that is a very, very important part of the process. And I do not have that background, but again, connecting with the right people, you can get someone to connect and help you with people that needs that help. It is a very important part of the process, because again, if you're dealing with, let's just say, past hurts or things that you've never been able to forgive yourself of, you're dealing with shame, you're dealing with other mental stuff that you have to get that cleared first. You have to be freed up from that first, so you can go with clarity to your next level. And that's why my friend Jessica and I are really um, teaming up, and we've I'm telling you, that was nothing but a God thing. So mental health is huge. It's a big thing. I mean, especially just knowing how to open up and talk and being vulnerable, so you can release some things that are inside of you, again, so God can fill you up with the right things, and then you can go and walk in your purpose. If you're continuing to hold on to grudges from 1969, like, really, like, you got to release that. You got to get rid of all that. And so you can be filled up with the right things. And now you're going to see that joy coming forth. You're going to see that you are making an impact, and your mind is clear. And it's such a really great thing. So, and we all struggle. Let me just put that out there. Nobody ever arrives. We all struggle at some point or time with some things. And that's why it's so important to know that you're not supposed to do life alone. It breaks my heart every time I hear of a suicide situation, or someone that's gone down a wrong path, or whatever it may be. It's like, gosh, man, was there just not someone there that they could have connected with, or reached out for help, or whatever it may be. That just really just messes with me a little bit with that, because we need each other. We need each other.
We're not walking this path alone, right? That's what I'm hearing you saying.
No, we're not.
Mm. And so one of the thing about Resources by Renae, you as an organization, as an entity, may not have the necessary resource that you need. But
Mhm.
part of your game, your mission is to go out and make the connection.
Right.
Make the connection. So you identify needs in the community, and then you find the resources to match and meet and satisfy that needs. Is that sort of how you work?
Absolutely. I actually tell the young people, I said, I'm working for you. I said, I'm here to work for you. What is it that you need? And I said, it is my job to find the right connections for you. And that's how I really place it. I said, whether it's again a mental health thing, whether it's you want to get into college, whether you need funding for college, whether it I'm not going to have all the answers, but I definitely can connect you to the right people that's their level of expertise. So we just again make the connections. Most chances are I'm going to reach out to my husband first because he has a major network of people and I can just like, hey, do you know anybody? We actually feed off each other. So, but that's basically what we do.
So Resources by Renae, is this a nonprofit, a for-profit? How are you organized as an
We
entity?
are a nonprofit. Yes, we are. We are a nonprofit.
You're a nonprofit agency. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So for the services that you provide, is it something that if a child, a young adult need your service, do they pay for the service? Or
So
how do you fund what you do?
So it depends on what the service that they're acquiring. So if it's just I need help with enrollment, how do I do the financial aid, that type of stuff, no. Definitely there's no charge. If it's more of a coaching, you want accountability, 6 weeks, we need you're trying to really get to a personal growth plan, and you're trying to do we have assessments that we do, behavioral assessments, and that's actually through this program through John Maxwell. And it's like, so we have different things that we can offer. Again, it's having that initial conversation to say, what is it that I can help you with? And depending on what it is, parents are just like, look, I need to help paying for her college, or I need, and that those are things that, that's free. That's totally, completely 100% free. Giving them that information on where to go to, or again, maybe connecting them to some of those financial aid experts or enrollment experts at different colleges. And I'm telling you, when I go to these different networking career fairs and stuff like that, I'm there to let them know Resources by Renae's out there, but I'm also out there getting connections for my former or my future clients. So it's a constantly ongoing acquiring connections, because again, I never know what someone may need. And again, if it's just for education to get them to their next level, job applications, filling out, look over my resume thing, no, that's not, there's no charge for that. But if you're talking about long-term coaching, you're trying to, again, mental health is a totally different coaching aspect. So personal growth, you're trying to be, we have workshops, and we also have workshops. So those will be charged also.
So depending on the service that has been provided, will determine the
Absolutely.
costs associated with that.
Right.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about faith, right? And this is a challenging world we live in, and you have things coming at you from all direction. So we
Mhm.
have your faith-based values, and then you have those other type of values out there. How do you integrate both of them?
Well, my faith is my number one, and that we're very upfront with all our clients about that. Because one thing we will do is we're gonna pray. I'll be praying before I get on the phone with you. I'm praying while I'm on the phone with you, and we may pray together. You know, so one thing that I'm a kingdom principle type person, and if it's I go to the Word of God and find out what is it that where's the answers are there. Just the bottom line, the answers are there. How do we deal with this? Well, what does the Word of God say about that? And so I am a very strong faith-based person, and I have lost customers that way. I've lost clients that way, you know um but that's who I am. I cannot. Someone mentioned it the other day. It's like, oh, actually it was my younger son Caleb. He says, I just asked you about one thing, you got to bring out the whole sermon about what God wants. And I said, he goes, but that's you, Mom, that's you. And that's pretty much it. Cause I'm not here by accident. God has me here for a reason. And he brought me here by the grace of God. So I cannot go around that. And yes, my husband and I have this thing about catching them before you clean them, because I'm ready to clean. And he's like, you got to catch them first. He said, you got to love on them first. You got to let them know that they trust you and all that. And I said, yeah, you're absolutely right. 100%. We love on them. We let them know that we're here for them. 100%. We love them despite anything. Okay. But there is some truth also out there. So, you have to be able to not to compromise your faith, and but let them know that this is where we stand, where we lay out the truth. This is where we stand. And but if sometimes it's not as easy, they just say, hey, I'm not down with that. You're not the one for me. And I'm like, I get it 100%, but I'm not compromising my faith.
So it's not just a priority, it is the foundation.
It is my foundation.
Is what you do.
100%. Yes.
Okay. I think it's important to note that, because people come to you, clients come, all kinds of people have problems. Mm-hmm. And it's not always about their beliefs and their faith. They just need support and service. And when you present it and project the way you do, and as you rightfully said, some of them walk away. Mm-hmm. But you welcome them as they're not the right ones for you. There's no matter.
And I'm very upfront with that, with them, and not that I would never turn anybody away. Mm-hmm. And, because they don't believe in the same faith, because ultimately I don't change anybody, it's God doing a work in them. But the most importantly, they will have to know that this is a faith-based company. I operate based on the kingdom principles, and, and I look at them and I tell them, you were made with greatness inside of you. You were made that way. Mm-hmm. There is a God out there that made you with greatness inside of you. And let's try to, bring that forth. Let's bring it forth. And so I just look at people like that. I look at all their talents. I look at all their skills. People who they come to me, it's like, hey, I want to be do mortuary science. And I'm like, really? And I get so fascinated by that, because God made us all for a different purpose. And I get so excited when I meet somebody that comes with a totally different goal that I've ever heard of. And it's just like, that's so cool, because God didn't make us all the same. And, he puts something different in each one of us so we can fulfill this purpose on earth. And I just love it when I hear about different goals that people have, because that's what he created us for.
Failure is a big part of success. You agree?
I absolutely agree.
What is one standout failure that you've experienced that really served you so well?
It's so 100% about the time management and not rushing into things. You talked about the process. And we, as a society, now want things done now. We want it done yesterday. And I've learned that everything that we have is through a process. And when you rush it, there's a time that when you're ready for it. And I had to learn that. And if you're given it that opportunity or that success too quickly, you may not be ready for it. And then that it will eventually fail because you rushed into it. And that's also a biblical thing. You don't want things easy, quick, you want to take your time. And, it doesn't, and I had to learn that. I was getting frustrated. And I see that happening with a lot of my young adults, is that they want to go after stuff that's quick. And I had to learn that it's, it's not such much as a failure, but I had to really learn it, because I was getting hard on myself about stuff. Why am I not doing this fast enough? Or, and it was really damaging my focus, and it didn't let things literally to take its course one day at a time. And because of it was being impatient, pretty much. I wanted to be successful, and I wanted to be successful now. And in that damaged some of the things, because haste makes waste, and next thing you know, I'm redoing things over. And sometimes you're listening to the people that you shouldn't be listening to. And I had to learn that too,
Do
the
you want
hard
to
way.
do you want to share a specific example about listening to the wrong folks?
Yeah, without naming names.
No.
So without, but one thing is not listening to the Lord. So that's the thing. You sometimes will want to please people,
Mhm.
and they will, some people will see the gifts in you, and will use it for their personal gain. And then
Mhm.
you buy into it, and next thing you know, you're in a place that you didn't want to be. And it's like, whoo, no, can't do that. And again, that's why it's so important to not jump into things quickly, to
Mhm.
sit back. And I've heard a long time ago, Joyce Meyer, she's a really good preacher out there, evangelist, that I listen to a lot. And she says, even shopping, like when you go shopping, you don't have to buy it right away. Walk away, spend a couple days. If this desire for you to still get it is there, go ahead and get it. And that's one thing that I had to learn, was don't jump at the first thing. Don't jump because it sounds good. Wait a little bit, sit on it a little bit, pray about it. And that was some things that I was always like, yeah, that sounds okay. Put me down, I'm ready. Let's go. I'm like, and okay, the example of that. A friend of mine was, acquaintance, I said coworker, colleague, was going on maternity leave. And she wanted me to take over her class for 4 months while she's on maternity leave. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I mean, I know what you do. And, I taught the same class, but that was 4 months of a commitment. And I didn't look at it like that. I'm thinking, yeah, no problem. I'll do it 4 months. But you're talking about 4 months of committing yourself to something. And I didn't really have the time to do that. But I jumped at it immediately. And then in the middle of it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this to be over. I can't wait. I'm like, I'm losing so much momentum in my own stuff because I said yes to somebody over here, and I'm losing out on it on the back end of it. So, even though, again, one of those things that I jumped right into it real fast without thinking, without talking it over with my husband and doing all that stuff. And I'm just like, and I had to suffer for it.
So, in making decisions in your home, you have a conference. You get together and you talk through it.
Oh, my husband and I have meetings every day. We have meetings every day. We're in, he's a really wise businessman, and especially when it comes to my business, I, said, hey, what do you think about this? This is what I like to do. Very supportive, but he's also got a lot of wisdom and saying, I don't think that's a good plan right now. You can gear up to it. Again, my now, I like the, let's do this now. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's like, maybe not right now, but we can, make that a long-term goal.
You're watching Life Changing Conversations that inspire action, and my guest is Dr. Renae Rogers. And Renae, before we take a break, I want you to answer this question. I want you to look into the camera as close as you can get to the camera. And I want you to pinpoint one person and tell them that you're thankful, you're grateful for them. You can call their name, it's your call on that.
One person? My goodness. Wow. There's so many people I'm so grateful for.
One
But
person.
but I have to say my mom. I have to say Paulette Chooksy Thompson Ricketts. I am so grateful to you. You gave me life. You raised me to be the woman I am today. And, every day you show your love. And, it's just, I am so grateful that, you're here to still guide me, give me words of wisdom, to pray for me. I know you're praying for me. So I'm so grateful to my mama, and, I just turned 50. and she looks like we look like the same age. Honestly, she looks 50 herself. So and she does such a good example of how to take care of herself, and that's what I tell people, what are you doing for 50? I'm taking care of myself. And my mom, it does that. She takes care of herself and she takes care of the people around her, and it's just such a great example to follow. And I'm just so grateful for you, Paulette Chixie, Mama. I love you so much. Thank you.
And there you have it. So Paulette Thompson Ricketts is that person in your life that you're so
Yeah.
grateful for. All right, so let's take a quick break and we'll come back and we will have our final conversation for the day.
Written of hearts that strive through fire and flame, they find their way, becoming iron where courage holds sway. Becoming iron, with heart forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction rising even higher, displaying strength in the fiercest fight, becoming iron, shining in the night. Faces the darkest night, the empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Together they rise, conquering fears, becoming iron through trials and fears. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher, displaying strength in the fiercest fight, becoming iron, shining in the night. Becoming iron, shining in the night. The brave man faces the darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Becoming iron knows where he belongs. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher, displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming iron, shining in the night. The brave man faces the darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong, shining in the night. And the tales unfold and the battle's new. Conviction's light sees them through, from abysses deep to the morning light. They becoming iron in the endless fight. Becoming.
Welcome back to Life-Changing Conversation to Inspire Action. My guest is Dr. Renae Rogers, and we're becoming iron.
Becoming iron.
Fighting through the night. Right? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yes. So, Renae, we're having quite a conversation. We're talking about resources by Renae and all the wonderful work that you're doing. Now, I want you to give some advice, right? I want you to give some advice to that parent out there, to that young adult, that they're really struggling. They're having a difficult time making that decision. What is the number one thing you would suggest to them?
To reach out. Reach out for help. Do not suffer in silence. Do not sit there and torment yourself and feel like you have to have all the answers. There are so many people out there that are willing to help. And it's just a matter, they won't know until you ask. The Bible says you don't have because you ask not. You have not because you ask not. So you have to ask for help. I have to hound on my older son about that, because he's very private. He's very reserved. And I said, you have to speak up. How are we going to know that you need help? So you have to, and the parents are the same. It's okay. We parents, we don't have all the answers. We don't know. These kids are a different breed. they're different. They have a lot of stuff going on, internal, external. I mean, there's so much, distractions out there. and we have to come together to help. I'm going to be very honest with you. We have to do it, parents. We have to do it. The kids are not doing right. That's because we gotta come together and help each other with these kids. If they need to find their purpose, we have to speak life into them and let them know that they were wonderfully, fearfully and wonderfully made for a time such as this. I mean, it's a lot of, speaking life. I believe in declarations, speaking over people, speaking over myself. I do declarations all the time. And it takes a village, it takes prayer, it takes, and it's not, no one said it was going to be easy. No one said it was going to be easy. And Dr. Stephenson, you asked who was very instrumental in my life and grateful for. I have to always say that never forget where you came from. I always say that. I always go back, when I first started teaching, given, first of all, I can't forget the people that helped me along the way. So the person that hired me, the person that showed me the ropes. And that's what we have to go back to. Go back to be grateful for the people that were helped us to be where we are, and reach out to them. Reach out to them. What's these fireworks going on? I must have did something. But you gotta reach out to those people. Said, hey, I need your help. What should I do? Find yourself a parent. You can find yourself a mentor yourself. No one's ever too old to have a mentor. So my son is, how should I approach it? I had to learn how to communicate with my older son. He's an introvert to no end. He's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. And I'm just like, why doesn't he not want to do this? Why does he want, is something wrong with him? No, they all have their own personalities, and we have to accept them for who they are, love them, but we got to be able to learn how to communicate with them and connect with them. So I know how to connect with my introverted son. I know he needs his space. I know he likes to do things alone, but we make that connection. So we have to learn how, these kids' personalities, and that's how we connect. We got to be able to connect with them, not yelling at them, not screaming at them, not tell them that they're no good. We got to find ways to connect with these kids. But it's a learning process. It's a learning process.
Each time I get a response like you offered to that these kids are different. I wonder if that's a positive or a negative thing. And the reason why I say that, I've been hearing that for a long time. I heard that when I was growing up.
Right.
We're different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always question, what does that really mean when you say these kids are different? So is it positive? Is it negative? What is it?
It's a positive thing. We want them. See, we always say, oh, I want them to have more than I ever had. We want them. Well, they do. They have more than we ever had with technology.
Absolutely.
So how do we connect now with that? So we're sitting there saying, oh, these kids are different because they're always on their phone. Well, yeah, because they have their phone. But how do we use that phone positively? How do we make sure that we're not doing things destructively on the phone? So when I say different, yes, it's different from us growing up. And then let's not forget the basics though. We do need manners. We do need to know how to respect our elders. So we're not leaving that behind, but they can enjoy what they have, but they have to do it respectfully. So and I think that's where we're missing this. And I've been on my soapbox about this whole selfish thing. And if anybody's been talking to me lately, I've been talking about selfishness, and that we have to be selfless. And I think again, we're losing that. So again, it's communicating, it's connecting, and let them know that we're coming from two different generations. You have a lot more. You can teach me. Like my son helps me with all my electronic stuff. He knows it. He builds computers. That's what he does. I could never do that. I need him for that, and he needs me for other things. So, but they are different.
I think beyond electronics is how they access information. They're more informed. They have the capacity to be more knowledgeable than the generation before them.
Right.
And I think all people living in these times need to utilize the access to what So what we say is theirs. It's not theirs. It's ours. We all are living at the same time, during the same time. Therefore, we all have access. But
Right.
I believe because of mindset, people from the previous generation and generations turn it off.
Yeah, I mean
And,
it's
and
it's changed. It's
I think there's
changed.
some lack. There's some lack.
Yeah.
Not just it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. We need to learn how to communicate the new ways as well.
Yeah.
I think
It's
it's a
changed.
shortcoming on us.
Nobody likes change. Nobody wants to, the technology thing is, yeah, one aspect of it. I do believe communication overall is another aspect of it. The technology does take away from the communication with these young people. We see it every day. When they don't know how to talk to people because they're always, it's texting, it's emailing, it's so we grew up with the verbal. You want something, you got to pick up the phone, you got to go to them in person, so it's, again, it's different. You said it's different. It's not a bad different, it's just different from what we're used to. So you got to make that choice whether you're going to go back to choices, if you're going to embrace it, learn it, get into it, and again make that connection with them.
And again, it's the difference, and too many of us are afraid of the difference. I believe they're afraid of it because in terms of productivity, and we will not. There's this new generation, and the newer generations coming will achieve so much more than we can ever imagine, that we
Oh
ever
yeah.
dream of imagining. So they're in good shape. They're doing great. We just need to learn how to meet them where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
often the responsibility is on us to make the change. My beliefs. That's what I believe. All right. So if you could change one thing about the way society supports young adults, what is that one thing? One thing you would change?
Wow, that's a good question. Never heard that before. What if I could change one thing? Um, well, being a teacher, a former teacher in the classroom, I should say. I'm always a teacher, but being in the classroom, I would love for parents or even adults to see what it's like in the school system right now. Like literally see what's going on behind those doors. See how the kids are behaving in the classroom, seeing the opposition that the teachers are facing. There's a lot of responsibility. I think because I've been a teacher, I'm very passionate, or show compassion towards a teacher, because there's so much to deal with, and that's where our kids are most of the time, is in the school. And it's definitely a difficult position. It's rewarding, but we're not understanding what's happening with these kids. I mean, when you when I hear about, oh, these kids are doing what, I was like, yes, they're, yeah, you need to spend a day in a high school or middle school and see what's going on. I would love for that to be an opportunity for parents, and just it may be, but when I hear someone's trying to bash a teacher or bash the school system or what have you, I said, have you been in a classroom lately with students? Have you been on a campus, a school campus lately? A lunchroom, or they just need to see the other side of it instead of throwing those darts at the people that are working with these kids every day. Why don't we do a day in the life of that teacher or that paraprofessional or that principal, if that be. So it's a difficult time with those kids in the school system.
Do we need to implement some changes in our education system? Is it a bit outdated?
No, I wouldn't say it's outdated. I just think that it just needs a lot more of community um, unity. I mean, it's not just the responsibility of the teachers. Like I said, I'll go back to say it's a village. We need the parents to work with the teachers and the administrators, and it needs to come together, and that's basically, I think, that would help, because and then understanding that kids are different. Every child is different, and we need to meet the needs of the child, not the students, the child. So, and that I saw that with my youngest boy, Caleb. He everybody kept saying he's a natural born leader. He's a natural born leader, but he's a kid that wouldn't sit in his chair. He'd be rolling around. If I asked his principal now, Ms. Nair, she would call me, and she had me text. She would call, text. We had that connection. Granted, he was in a private school, but still, we had that connection, trying to, um, you know, help him. And we see, you know what, Caleb, if you put him in a leadership role, he will excel, and he would love that, and it give him a purpose in the classrooms, like, I'm the leader, I don't know, like a line leader or whatever it is. But he was bored. He didn't want, what I'm saying, it was just like we weren't looking at the individual kid. We're just like, oh, he doesn't behave, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. I said, well, if you tap into what they like to do, then we could probably help them to behave better, or to achieve better on their tests or whatever. So I'm not an expert at this, but that was just my personal experience with
Mhm.
dealing with my son, that was always classified as being, misbehaving in class. And he had this energy that was balled up, that they weren't doing anything with. And he's very influential. People will follow him, do what, and he's got such wisdom. And so that's the experience that I had with the school system.
Mhm. Yeah, because the school system has been the school system for a long time, right?
Yeah,
It was a broad brush approach to everything.
yeah,
Education.
yeah,
I think there's room in there for major changes. We're living in different times. People are being students are being educated in different ways. They receive information in different ways. So I think there's room for changes there, definitely. And
yeah.
better system indeed. Now, what motivates you? What is it in your life that keeps you going? Tough days, challenging days. You get up and you start over all over again. You do it all over. What is it that keeps you going?
Believe it or not, it really is when I hear from my former students, and that, we just had this conversation with one of my former students, graduated in 2016, and they're telling me, well, if you didn't, I still do random act of kindness because of you. I still do this. And I'm like, wow. And to see the power of multiplication with that, they're now working in the healthcare field, and they're doing this and all that. I'm like, wow, God, is that my purpose? Is that my purpose? And that's what keeps going. And like we keep saying, your passion will fuel you, your purpose will fuel you. That's what keeps going. It's just that's what I'm supposed to be doing, is to literally helping, setting foundation, helping people better themselves, bringing light to them, speaking life into them, and that's what really motivates me. I love to see how I can help someone get to the next level, and let them see how, important they are to society. They're
Mm.
just not another number. They're just not another person. That you have a piece to this big puzzle called the world, and you have greatness inside of you. So that definitely, I love to help people do that. Whatever they have, their goal is, and you know, I want to be there to help you achieve it.
To see that success story, that person who is paying it forward, doing that work, that it that brings you joy and it keeps you in the game, is what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
it keeps me in the game. It just continues to confirm what
Mhm.
I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And that's and you'll know anyway. You'll know because it brings you joy. Just like you'll constantly make videos, and you're writing books, and that's just like, you know, what you're made to do, because and it doesn't come like work. It does not. It's not like work. It's just
It's
like,
hard work now. It's
it's
work.
work, but it doesn't. It
It's
doesn't.
work. It's commitment. But
It is.
makes it so powerful. It's not a cakewalk. It's not a
But
walk,
you enjoy it. You
but
enjoy it.
well, it's not a walk. For me, it's not a walk in the park. You gotta make it's commitment, it's discipline.
Yeah.
So all those things. So when I hear people say it's not work, maybe you're not going hard enough to get to where you
Let's
should
just
be.
say this way: you sit there, and the time will go by, and it's like all
Mhm.
of a sudden, like, oh my goodness. But
Yeah,
if you didn't like it, you wouldn't be doing it.
right.
So you enjoy it.
Because it's important.
Yeah, you enjoy
It,
it.
it requires a level of discipline, a certain amount of commitment,
100%.
dedication. Absolutely. So it is work. It
It
is
is
really.
work, but it's
Yeah.
not. The work that we think about, what most people will think about, is going to a job, going in there, and clocking into a place you don't want to be. That's
Yeah.
what I really mean. And that's why I always tell my young people, do not pick a career just because of the
Mhm.
status, the money, you have to be able to enjoy this job. You need to wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, I got to go because we got this going on today at my job." Or, I'm starting this new initiative. You want to wake up excited, and that's how you pick the job. If you're going to pick a job based on the salary or the status is
Mhm.
going to bring you, or the house or the cars, that's going to fade quick. It is. And if you
Mhm.
get something that is deep down you're passionate about, then that's not going to go anywhere.
Mhm. Well, you go back to it the next day. So let's talk legacy. And is that important to you?
It's very important to me. When it comes to legacy, again, I think I saw that when I was building the healthcare academy at the high school, and just to see again, when I asked their kids, or actually, the young lady just got hired, and she says, "I got a drive, and it has your name all over it." And I said, "They're still using that?" I was like, I was like, wow. And then go back and hear about they're still doing this and they're still doing that. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And so leaving a legacy is amazing. Even with the young people that I worked with, and they're now in their professions in healthcare, or they decided to not do healthcare. That's a thing too. I'm like, listen, because I always tell them, don't do things because your parents want to do it. The money's there, it's easy, whatever. Do things because you want to do it, and that's what you're called to do. But that's to me, I'll constantly, and about giving, I want to be the most, I want to be the mini Oprah of giving. And give of my time, my, not wearing me out, let's not get it wrong, but giving. I want to be able to give, and know that, my husband has, I see that a lot. Like, people will always say, "You gave me my first this, you gave me my first this," and I'm just like, that is amazing. People are not going to forget that.
Mhm.
It's not what you say, it's how you made them feel, type thing. And that's I love that. I just want to be able to give as much as I can. And God has blessed me with so much. At this point, it's just about a legacy of giving, you know.
A legacy of giving. Now, Resources by Renae, relatively new entity. Where
Yeah.
do you see your organization a year from now?
A year from now, I want to be a brick and mortar building. And I am going to be a brick and mortar building. I want to have a building where
Mhm.
people can come to. And I keep telling my husband, I tell him, like, the street I want it on. I go by, I said, "Yep, this is where it's going to be." And my mother has always told me I have big faith. I have big faith. And when I speak, yeah, I want to, that's where I'm going to be. And I have that vision, and I see it. This is going to be a place where people can come to. Matter of fact, someone asked me that yesterday: "Where can I find you if I need to send people to you?" And I said, "Well, next year we're going to be over here, but not yet." So I am definitely going to have a location where people can come to, and people can get resources, and just bring the community together. And it's just going to be great. I have it all lined out.
Hmm. And to the day.
Yes.
I won't ask you to share that day today, the
Yeah.
date. You'll have this building up, or at least you'll break ground.
Break
But
at least I break ground next year. I'm telling you, I am so
yeah.
God has given me that vision so clear. It's just, you know, there's only certain people that I trust with that. And I just told him, I said, nope, this is what's gonna look like.
Mhm.
And I've never had that burning before, like I have now. So it's
Yeah.
gonna it's gonna come.
I can't wait to see that architectural rendering of what it's going to look like on the social media. I can't wait to see it, and I know it's coming soon. So congratulations on that. Legacy
Thank
is
you.
important to you, and that's exactly what you're doing daily. Daily, you're writing your story, which is your
Yes.
legacy.
Amen.
Renae Rogers, is there anything else you'd like to add? Something that you didn't talk about, but would like to add before we go?
I just, if I had one thing to add is, I can't stop telling people to keep God first in anything that you do, and always pray about it. And it's so important that God is always speaking to us, and we got to be able to listen. And if you feel that God God put something in you to do it, do it. Do it. He didn't put in, like I was telling you about the young man that wanted to go into mortuary science. He didn't give me that. Okay? He gave him that. So
Mhm.
when don't discount it, that when he gives you something, he's already equipped you to do it. Now you just got to move. Okay. So it's a matter of just recognizing it. That's what he put into you. Nothing's ever too small, nothing's ever too big. I always have the saying with my husband's, go big or go home.
Mm.
Just go for it. He will provide. It's when it's his will, it's his bill. He will go ahead and help you get it. And but you got to stay in alignment with the word, and you cannot. I'm big on kingdom principles. If it's not a kingdom principle, stay away from it. All the answers are in the Bible for you to whatever you need to do, how to treat people, how to even love yourself. And just honor God in that aspect. You want to give as much as you can. It's better to give than to receive. We already know that,
Mm.
but giving doesn't always have to be monetary. There's so many ways that you can give unto others, but most importantly, I'm big, like my platform, God gives me seasons, so my platform right now is about being selfless. We got to think of other people. It is not about us. It never was, and it never will be. So we got to think about other people. We got to think about the life that God has given his only son, so that we should have life and have it more abundantly. And so if you're sitting around complaining, not liking yourself, that is not what God has for you. That is
Mm.
not what God has for you. He wants you to live a life of abundance. And so he's given you something in a dream, he's given you an idea. Go for it.
Go
You
for
know, that's what I wanted to share.
I should tell you this, Dr. Renae Rogers, right? We have online watching right now. We have Dr. Donna Thompson. We have Chairman Lenny Satoya, and we have Elizabeth Kisiangani, all members of the Elizabeth Sitawa Cancer Community-Based Organization, a new company that we formed in Kenya. And they're all watching, and you can see some of the comments. And of course, I'll be calling on you to offer some support. We're
Absolutely.
to offer some support on that. So thanks for joining us, Lenny, Donna, and Elizabeth. The work they're doing with that in Kenya is just amazing.
I'm
You know,
sure
cancer, cancer is like it is everywhere. It's a big, 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 big
it
thing.
is. Yeah.
And you've had personal experience with that. We
Hmm.
all, and so we're trying to do our part in Kenya. And
Right.
and that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. We'll take it elsewhere. We'll take it elsewhere. So we'll be calling on you with that. And you've always been that person. And you said you want to give as much as you can. You have done exactly that. You're not just talking.
No.
You're walking your talk as well. So you have done that. You've supported, charitable initiatives that I am a member, I've been part of. And so you've done all of that. So appreciate that. And I congratulate you on everything that you're doing. You're doing great,
Thank
amazing
you.
there.
And
In fact,
same to you. Same to you. You're definitely inspiring.
in fact, you're doing the kind of work that you're doing has made it necessary for us to honor you at our colloquium in Atlanta in February.
Right.
You will be one of the honoree
Well,
at,
thank you.
at our colloquium. So yeah, that's a big deal. And that's what happened when people are out there doing work, purposeful work, serving and service work. We recognize them, and we're recognizing you for doing what you're doing. So we thank you for that. We're grateful.
Well, we think, and I want to appreciate you and thank you. We serve the greatest servant of all time. Jesus was server. He was served and served, and someone mentioned he's the greatest mentor that we have, and so that's what we're created to do, is to serve one another.
Absolutely, absolutely. So unless you have anything else you want to add,
I think I'm good.
and I think we're done for the day. I just want to say thank you to anyone out there who have watched this live show and will watch the replay. This is life-changing conversation, and it's to inspire action. My guest today is Dr. Renae Rogers, and I know she did inspire actions, not just here in the United States, but we have some folks from Kenya and other parts of Africa and elsewhere watching. So you said your organization, Resources by Renae, is not global, but you are global.
Okay, I'm ready.
You are. So don't be surprised if you have folks reaching out to you to tap into what you offer, because that's what you're all about. You
Oh,
are.
100%. I'm sharing,
Mhm.
even, we just celebrated birthday 50, right? And everybody that helped with that birthday, whether photographer, a baker, I was sharing. I'm willing to share anybody's business. Like I said, there's no competition in any of this. We're all into this together.
Mhm.
And if you want me to go ahead and, um, you know, to highlight you, I'm doing. Matter of fact, I'm coming out, and probably today. I think my poor boy is helping me put something out there. Isaiah, he's so amazing, so patient. We're doing the breast cancer. You mentioned about cancer, but we're putting a actual podcast out there today and tomorrow. It's 2 parts about October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So just to let you know, Resources by Renae is going to be putting out an awareness for every month of the year. And October was breast cancer awareness. So we're going to talk about 2 survivors. They're going to come and talk about their journey. They're going to talk someone that's actually an advocate in the hospitals, telling them how they can get screened. So that's coming out. And then we're going to highlight different professions, 1 profession a month. And because there's a lot of professions my young people don't know about. So that's going to be coming up.
Mhm.
Also, we have a great lineup for 2025. And then, of course, the Proverbs Challenge, which I'm so excited about. 1 proverb for the month of January. I mean, 1 proverb for every day of the month of January. So we cover from Proverb 1 to Proverbs 31, and it just sets the tone for the year. So I'm excited about that, and it's going to be amazing. So,
I am
well,
excited for you. I'm excited for the possibilities. I'm excited for the work that you're
thank you.
doing and for those who will benefit from your work. So
Thank you.
great stuff. All right, folks.
All
That's all
good.
we have for today. Thanks for watching Life Changing Conversation. And again, the objective is to inspire action. Today, my guest is Dr. Renae Rogers. And did she inspire action? I'm sure she did. She certainly inspired me. All right. So Catch us tomorrow at 7:30. We'll be bridging generations, voices of men. I'll have on the platform with me Dr. Juan Marcel, Dr. Arthur Hines, and Dr. Gary McCook. We're going to talk a little bit about being honored and also the election. We are in election season right now, so we'll be talking a whole heap about that tomorrow. So join us tomorrow and Bridging Generations, Voices of Men. So until that time, I'll say blessings always. Renae, if you can stand back for me for a minute, I'd appreciate it.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I read His word, blessing come out of my mouth. Cause I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as He told me to pray for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, He is in me. I am a bold kid, He loves me, standing firm on His word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because He is with me. Be bold.